It's time for the Switched at Birth after show here on AfterBuzz TV. We are talking season 5, episode 2. This has to do with me. We've got so much to talk about. Stick around.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello and welcome. It is time for Switched at Birth here on AfterBuzz TV. If you have not already, go to youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Hit subscribe. We're also on iTunes and SoundCloud. This is my subscribing-ness. I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm joined by my lovely panel. Hannah Prichard is here.
Hey guys.
Where can people find you on Twitter?
At the Hotshot Dude.
Thank you.
No problem.
Kelsey Hightower is here.
Hi guys, I'm Kelsey Hightower and you can find me on social media at Kels Hightower.
Awesome. And we have a voice of the chat who you will never see if I have my way. Becca, say hello.
Hi.
Yeah.
Becca.
Yeah, you can tweet at her at Becca B Talks TV.
Yeah.
But that's all. You cannot see her.
Nope.
I refuse. She is
The
taking,
wizard.
Yeah, exactly. All right, we are talking Switched at Birth, Season 5, Episode 2. This has to do with me. I feel like that's how you have to say the title.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that was the name of it. That's pretty intense.
Yeah. This was an intense episode.
It was.
Really serious issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into actual serious issues, let's talk
Yes.
about everything else.
So, John and Catherine.
Yeah, okay, so John and Catherine. Guys, John and Catherine. First of all, this was the most John Kennish episode, right? Like, his whole, these liberals today, which is so funny because we know.
Are they putting that extra gray and white hair, in right there? Because I feel like it's a perfect little patch on both sides. Which is, seriously, I was like, those are, fluffing over his ears right now. I feel like they're, dusting that on him.
No,
He's just got
so
some
sexy.
extra stress, with
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these girls flitting around the country,
Yeah, and he's working with his wife. You got to balance
That's
that
tough.
wife
That's a true
work.
statement.
Yeah.
can
Also,
imagine.
he looks so good with him. So why are we
He
complaining?
He does. You're right. I think he should just
Back
let
off
it.
my boo.
Yeah, I think he should just let it all over his head. It's time for him to take in being a silver fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, DW. Yes.
Hey.
But John and Catherine are dealing with this sport player they're trying to woo.
Yeah.
So funny seeing them trying to impress him, where you see on a lot of other shows, or maybe it's just SVU that I've seen this, where colleges will bring players to the school and give them a cheerleader who's going to host them and walk around with them and show off the school and try to entice them. And they're come over for dinner.
Exactly. They had no idea what they were doing.
It's just, they're just so wholesome and parently. It's that's what they would think of as doing a good thing, or such a Catherine thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me cook you dinner, that sort of stuff. And yeah, I can't think about all the things that these players get bribed with, cars or whatever it is. I guess they can't give them money, but everything but.
Yeah. And I'm
Practically.
surprised Catherine acted like it was her first day hearing that.
That's so weird.
I'm like, dude, Catherine, and John should know that. That's what they're doing at all the other schools.
Yeah, John, don't you remember when you were in school and people were trying to woo you?
Exactly.
Way back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm sure they still gave him stuff. I mean, I know that was a hot minute ago, but I'm like, John, I'm sure they still, gave you some incentive.
Yeah.
A dumb one, but I'm sure they gave you one.
Yeah, on SVU at least, they give them a girl and a
Yeah.
party and a tour and then fly them out.
Oh, yeah.
This UMKC was you're already here, so
Right?
we're gonna give you dinner, a home cooked
Exactly.
meal.
And she's like, oh, we'll make sure you're set up with shuttles.
Oh, and if I
And a
like the
ride.
volunteer drivers, I was like, so you're giving him a chauffeur? Because that, I'm sure he'd be like, yeah.
Exactly. At least choose your wording, Catherine.
But I like when he goes, I want a car. I like when he just says it, because
Yeah.
he wants a car, Catherine. You're not picking up what he's putting down. Becca, anything from the chat?
Not about this topic
Okay.
right now.
Great.
All right,
They're
well,
ready
then-
for all the other things.
Yeah, they
Yep,
want to talk about
they're
everything else.
ready.
We just got to get through John and Catherine in this car with
'Cause
the
we'll-
sport player.
Yeah, spend the rest of the time talking about.
Yes.
But I do like Chris. I
The
actually,
sport player?
I'm excited for him to be on the show. I think he's going to add a new
you-
fun little dynamic.
That's so interesting. It never occurred to me that he would be part of the show.
You were just focusing on John and Catherine with him and not, like, him being on the show?
Yeah, no, in my head, this was like a one-time problem.
Oh, no. The
Like-
minute he was on, I was like, he's got some angst in him. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's a kid that's going to have some, like, provide some issues for John, you know what I mean? And he'll have to, like, battle things out with him on the team and, like, try to teach him a lesson. So the minute he was on, I was like, dude, he's going to end up going to the school regardless. It's very obvious.
I knew he was going to go to the school. It just didn't occur to me that he'd come back into
yeah.
our show. Yes, from the chat.
Now we have comments about this subject.
Yes.
Billy says, I agree with Catherine standing by school policy. Then Anna says, I thought John was going to go behind her back and buy the car with his own money. And I was like, yikes.
Yeah, I absolutely thought that John was going to do that other thing where, like, it's a free loaner and he doesn't get to keep it. Mm-hmm. I thought we were going that way. But Catherine calling and being like, turns out you people are offering him a car and kind of screwing everyone else over. Genius.
What a little snitch, though. I was like, Catherine.
I loved it. It was so smart.
I mean, it was smart, but I felt like they were going, like, the mature route. You know what I mean? Like, doing the right thing.
Nah.
And then Catherine still did, like, a low blow. But, I mean, you know, whatever.
Speaking of low blows, I want to talk about Regina and Luca. Low blows. So they're stuck. I don't know.
I don't even know what you mean with that, but
I
the only
don't
way that I
either.
can go with it just does
Good
not,
transition.
you know, it's...
Girl, I'm trying to find a transition. I got nothing. So, first of all, they're teaming up with that jerk face. That's me censoring myself. From, like, the one with the rapey shirts.
That's what he was for.
Did you not watch the previous
I
video?
did, but I didn't, like, connect the dots. I thought they were going to use that for, like, all of the other things, you know, and no.
No, as soon as that was on the previously on, I went, this was so long ago. And then I saw some kid and I went, I guess that's him. And he's still a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah, chat?
No,
Oh, okay.
subject.
I thought you were hailing me over. So what are we thinking about Luca and Regina as a couple?
I mean, I don't know, because, you know, I have all the feelings because I generally like, you know, the student-teacher relationship.
But
And
she's
this is
not
not
a
the
teacher.
teacher, so it messes me up. It messes me up a little bit.
So you do like the student-teacher
I always-
relationship?
I always
we're
kinda
all
like
big
the,
fans
like-
of that.
Oh,
I always kind of like the cradle robbing, like, aspect of things. I don't know why, but...
We have daddy issues.
But
Yeah.
I'm just jumping on the same page with you guys. I'm just trying to
Oh, good.
fill us
Figure
where
out
we're
where
at.
we're
You
at.
know,
Good. I
get
just
it?
wanted to make sure. Thanks. We don't all have daddy issues. That's
We're
okay.
all a little all over the place.
It's wrong show.
Gosh darn it, Steven, you're a little late.
It's not. He's just having way too much fun with the soundboard.
I know.
So yes to Luca and Regina.
Yeah, like I'm very off and on about it, like a little bit. Like I'm like, you probably shouldn't, Regina. It's a little weird, but I'll tell you what, he's got some smooth moves with her, and I'm like, yes.
Okay.
And he's well, I don't know how I feel about it. But because that's such an awkward relationship, I feel like. But I can see where Regina's at because they're in school together, and you know she's feeling out of place anyways because she's like at college again, going back like as a mom. But it's weird because her daughters are the same age as Luca, so it's like,
Yeah.
how do you like? Any of that relationship just like freaks me out a little bit.
So here's where I stand on this relationship. He's a good-looking fella.
He's real good looking.
I give him
No
that.
one
No,
denies
one's-
that.
First of all, the fact that he did not understand her Bender from the Breakfast Club reference real bugs me. But we're putting that aside. Here are my big issues with him.
Okay.
Because I was like, all right, whatever to this relationship. I don't see it being an endgame relationship.
No.
Just because, aside from like the physical, they don't have anything in common or like any connection. And
No.
she's basically said that to him. But my problem is he pulled the Wi-Fi out on purpose because he was like, I have a plan, it'll be better. And then when they were forced to do the tournament on the old school Miss Pac-Man game, he decided, winner takes home tonight's tips. What if she was terrible?
I thought the same thing.
Both of those things, those actions are really like knee-jerk reactions and not like thought through plans.
But
And
I think that's kind of goes to his character too, because he's supposed to be like the young kid, just kind of like
the idiot. Is that what you're saying?
well, just like going on a whim, like
Yeah.
guy. Like think about a young college guy.
That's why I don't date young college guys.
Exactly, because they act like this. So I feel like that kind of plays towards that, like just builds up that kind of character. I'm just going along with what you're saying.
Absolutely.
I support you, girl.
Yeah.
Now, most of the chat likes Luca.
What's our
and
poll?
then,
Do you have a poll?
We don't have a poll.
we don't have a poll.
We need a Luca poll.
Elizabeth likes him. Anna
Okay,
says he seems like a good guy. And then there's one person who doesn't like him with Regina.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about them together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, great, girl, you get what you need from him and move on.
Mm-hmm.
Find Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Find Bishop.
Yes.
All right. Before we get into Bay's job and what's going on with her and Travis, I want to take a moment. We're taking a moment to thank you, to thank all the fans for joining us, for everyone live in the chat. We brought a voice of chat for you. Becca, thank you for being here.
Of course.
Everyone, we asked you to do a very simple thing. Go to iTunes, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode because it's the final season and you really don't want to. But also rate and review. If you like us, you can give us 5 stars. If you don't like us, you can give us 4 stars. The other stars, they don't work. Trust me, I've tested them and they're broken. All of them. 1 through 3 are broken. It's 4 or 5. Those are your options. And the deal we make is if you write a review, we will read it live on the air. That's my responsibility, and I did it.
You did it?
I
Did somebody
got
do
it.
it?
So this is our last new review, and it's from August 2016.
Oh, hey. That's not too long ago. It's
Yeah.
a little bit long, but like, hey, you were binging on, break time.
Are you done?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is a 5-star review.
Woo woo!
From,
I wasn't even here, but I
Yeah.
feel like I was.
We weren't here either, but you know.
Oh yeah, no one was here.
No one was here.
Where was they?
Love this podcast. It's from Eliza Wen, I believe is how it said. Eliza's Wen. I'm so sorry if I'm butchering it. My bad. I love this AfterBuzz podcast so much. Oh, thanks. I've listened to the other AfterBuzz podcasts, and this is by far my favorite. Oh, Yell at Hannah are absolutely hilarious. That's why. And I love that they both ship Bennett. We do.
I know, but I was having a meltdown last week, and I don't want to talk about it. Thanks for reminding me.
Keep it up. Love you guys. We love you too. Thank you so much. Everyone go to iTunes, rate and review, and we will read it live on the air. That is my job, and I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Mm-hmm. All right. Bay's job.
Bay.
Yeah. Bay. She wants to work for Noelle, this hot tattoo artist with the sexy harness. Girl.
You mean physically? I wasn't sure if you meant like, in the media, like she hot right now.
No,
or
I
like,
meant the girl
she,
is hot.
She is stunning.
Yeah, dips. Yes.
Greg in the chat said that earlier. Can we talk about how hot she is?
Yes.
I thought
Greg,
of you.
thank you. Greg, you and me both got good taste. No, because girl is gorgeous.
She is.
And that harness was sexy.
She had 2, didn't she? Well,
Well,
I
no,
guess
so there
the
was, like,
first
the
one was more
chain.
like a harness.
Yeah.
The second one was like a chain.
It was like a leather and then a chain. Girl, I paid attention.
It's all in the details.
Yep.
Yep.
So Bay wants to work with her, but she's like, no. And at first I was like, is she not going to ask if she has a license? But then it came up later that that's why she wouldn't let her tattoo, because she doesn't have a license.
What was she? I mean, do you not need a license over in China to tattoo?
I guess not. I
Like,
mean,
not
and
with
even if
that.
you do, it's a different license.
Right, and then I was just like finding that out. I was a little confused why Bay in the first place, when talking to John and Catherine, was like, oh, I got this in the bag. My portfolio is great. I've been doing this for 6 months. 6 months is not very long tattooing, sweetheart. And I don't even know how you built up that big of a portfolio in that amount of time. Trace, that doesn't really matter if you do not have a license.
Yeah, so
who
in the
cares?
U.S., apparently, you gotta have a health permit and a license. Those are the things that I'll point out. You don't have either.
And you thought the top dog was going to give you a job.
Right. If she had shown up with those things, I feel like she would have had a much better shot. Noah would have been like, all right, let me look at your stuff. But the fact that she didn't mention it to her, I've been tattooing for 6 months in China. Okay.
That just sounds sketchy. That
Yep.
sentence
It
itself,
does.
you know?
Yeah.
I've been in China doing some work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's when you lie and you embellish and you're like, year and a half.
Yeah.
You know?
I grew up with a guy who's a tattoo artist now, and when he was, after he got his license and was still working and was trying to get a reputation and experience, he was tattooing on himself. That's what apparently is a very common thing.
Gotta practice.
Yeah. So, Bae, girl.
Where are your
some
tats
Yeah.
at?
Especially when she was like, you got any ink? And she was like, yeah, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, right. I got a baby one on the back of my neck.
Right.
Which obviously you can't do that, right? You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can, but it'd be an amazing skill, and it would be awful.
Yeah.
And then, so the girl with the owl tattoo comes in, and she's like, I'll do it. No! It didn't occur to you this is someone's business and livelihood and that you could get it shut down?
Truth.
Completely unacceptable.
Can we also talk about how, like, when we saw the picture of the owl tattoo versus the drawing that she had shown her from her portfolio or tattoo, they weren't actually similar types. Like,
No,
when
they
she
were
was
very
like,
different styles.
she's like, I got this kind of style that I think might work for you, and she's like, that's it, that's what I want. Do like that style on me. It wasn't even close, like not in the ballpark of same style.
They were very different styles. I did notice that, yes.
Yeah, I was a little bothered by that.
It was beautiful, though. But also,
Yeah.
the one that she showed her was art and not on a body.
Yeah, still don't care. Different styles.
No, I mean, I'm saying that's also an issue, that in her
Yes.
portfolio is not just tattoos. And I've seen people put art into their portfolio.
Right.
But, like, her Sledgehammer Girl should be in there, you know?
Yes, if she's gonna do just art simply, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I agree with you. I was a little confused by that. I was like, I've never seen somebody's portfolio though that is solely taken over by drawings. That's not showing what you can do as a tattoo artist.
Right.
What would you? I'm new to this portfolio whole thing.
Yeah.
What would you put in there? Like, what
So
would the
you
thing
would
be?
put, so like the girl that we saw her tattooing in the season finale and season premiere
Yeah.
with the like amazing sword, which I'm assuming is what she looked
Yeah.
at when she said, I like the sword.
Yeah. So, like a
that-
picture of that.
Yeah, pictures
Yeah,
of
okay.
tattoo art she's done.
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. I get that.
Yeah.
So
You know,
it should
like,
be mostly that, and then you can put in also artwork.
Yeah. Just don't make that be the primary. And I sense that that's
Yeah,
what
right.
Bae had
Yeah.
done.
Yeah?
There's a lot of people getting on the Chinese subject. How she
Yes.
managed to learn Chinese in 10 months.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying also. Like,
Yeah.
nuh-uh.
I was thinking the same thing. This girl, like, must be really good at languages. Which she must be.
Well, I mean, she did pick up signing quickly, but like that's a little bit
Oh,
different
it's
than
very
like
different.
verbal, you
I'm
know?
great at sign. I'm terrible at other languages.
Bae.
Yeah. They're very different. So I'm impressed that she learned it. And then the guys, I was like, yeah, it looks like they're going to rob her. That's what it looked like.
Which I love that they just kind of like stuck that little instance in there. I'm like, come on, guys, we're better than that. Than to be like, hey, see, look, I protected you from getting robbed. I'm like, God, y'all are better than this.
But I appreciate that it turned into Noelle reminding her that she doesn't have a license, and that's why
True.
she shouldn't be tattooing in
Yeah.
her studio. Speaking of Bae, let's talk about Travis. Hannah?
I'm sorry, guys, because I really like him. I know that, like, I love Bennett so much, but I really like them together.
Yeah. Thoughts, Becca?
And Becca's just cringing. We can't see her or anything.
Yeah, but someone on the chat said, I have to find who said it, said that he's adorable, which I agree with. I mean,
Travis?
Yeah. I mean,
Like, it's...
Are you Team
Yeah.
Emmett or Team
So-
Travis?
Okay, so I have believed that Bennett is endgame. They are OTP. They're gonna happen.
Yeah.
But after what's going on with Emmett's like depression, and there are theories going on, there are a lot of fan theories about his suicide attempt being because of her.
Right.
And Travis is such a good guy when he doesn't have his anger management issues.
Right.
Because we forget about that a lot. And he's also, in my opinion, I think he's becoming more attractive to me.
He is becoming more attractive to me, but I thought you were going to say that more attractive than Emmett, and I was like, okay, let's
No,
slow
no.
your roll right there, because, like...
No. I mean, I do love
don't know about
gingers,
that.
so.
All right.
Billie Jean girl agrees with you, Hannah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you. Don't be too hard on me. I'm not leaving the Bennett team. I'm just, a little confused right now.
Yeah, it's
Everyone's a little confused.
everyone's confused.
I
Where
know.
do you stand on Travis?
I like Travis. I support that.
Are you not a Bennett fan?
I was at first.
Okay.
And I jumped off the train.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm on the Travis train.
It's okay. We need some.
Yeah.
Diversity.
That
You know.
said, I liked Travis with Mary Beth.
Yeah,
I did too.
That
I really liked
Sorry.
that. Stop hitting
I
the
rocked the whole table.
But this thing that he does for her,
emotions.
where she's
real.
Bay is so sad about being home and everything's not working out. Well, duh. Like, okay, you guys were living in a fantasy. Unless you were planning to stay there forever and make it work, you were living in a vacation. And as someone who travels a lot, I understand, because once you go home, you go, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
Because when you're on vacation, it's stress-free and it's fun and it's great. And then you come home to the real world, and now they have to deal with that. But what he does was so sweet when he brings China to her.
And I'm sorry, but like it's also they like have great makeout chemistry, y'all. Like when they kiss, it is like,
I did notice that, yes.
Yeah.
But there was no Emmett in this episode, and I want to make sure we've mentioned that because Emmett fans get upset when we skip
I
Emmett.
know.
Yes.
Dark Angel, something, don't know the end.
Okay.
Says Bay and Emmett are so over.
Oh.
And then we have someone gave up on Emmett.
Wow, that'd be fighting
So-
words.
People are like jumping ship.
Yeah.
Ooh, woof.
What's really interesting about Travis bringing in the Chinese stuff into their house is that this is a cultural appropriation episode, and I went, oh, this is kind of cultural appropriation. Are we just gonna gloss over that?
I think there's a lot of like little.
So let's get into it.
The time is now.
The time is now. All right.
Ladies, put your seatbelts on.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So I gotta say, I want us all to be on the same page. Although a healthy discussion is welcome.
Yes.
And this episode definitely was discussing a whole bunch of things: cultural appropriation, race, class, you know, what that means, safety, what it means to be safe emotionally, physically. So I want us to understand the same thing so that we can have a healthy discussion here. It's like class.
It is like class.
So,
And before you start, I just think it's crazy that when this episode was written and when they, shot this a year ago or whatever, it's like this was kind of still, appropriate and very like timely, but now,
Yep. Also,
a year and a half later, it's become even more pertinent.
Topical, yeah.
Yeah.
We had that discussion last week. Look
Yeah.
at you.
It's just like, it's crazy. So.
So, cultural appropriation is the adoption or use of elements such as icons, rituals, aesthetic standards, and behavior from one culture or subculture by another. It generally is applied when the subject culture is a minority culture in social, political, economic, or military status to the appropriating culture. So,
This does feel like class.
yeah.
It does.
But it's good.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
Yes.
No.
Greg said that it's kind of ironic that this episode was the first to air during Black History Month.
That's a
that is
true
also true.
statement as well.
Yes.
Very
I had to
observant Greg.
Yeah.
Thank you, Greg.
Huh.
Yeah, so the issue that we have, right, is that Mingo dresses as Lil Wayne. A very, like on point, like very much Lil Wayne, right?
Oh yeah, he
Like,
had all the
he had the specific tattoos.
Yep.
Which is something that Mingo, his character, I feel like would do and
Absolutely.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe that Lil Wayne is his favorite artist.
I
I-
believe that
yes.
too.
100%.
I believe that Mingo would write for a class an essay about how, like,
Yes.
Lil Wayne is a poet and,
Yep.
is very important. Anyway.
And believe it. And he
Yeah.
would, like,
Yes.
Yeah. And in that sense, he gets himself in trouble because Mingo.
Mingo's, he's not the brightest.
Exactly, because he's not. Just keep going, though.
Okay,
I'll
so-
explain that in a little bit.
So Iris feels, and I love that we had both Iris and Cherie with these opposing
Loved it.
perspectives, and I love that this show does these, like, we're going
Yes.
to talk about serious things and have a real conversation and give you all the different sides and not
love
tell you
that.
what's right or wrong.
Like that classroom discussion, like, when.
Yeah.
was beautiful. All of them having completely different opinions and, like, the different, voices and bodies that they were coming from with those questions I really thought they nailed that scene.
Yeah.
Gisela and Anna, they had a conversation at the beginning of the chat that they're basically Team Mingo because he wasn't dressing up like a stereotype, and Anna said that he did it because he liked Lil Wayne.
Yeah,
not to mock him.
Absolutely. So I
you're
found
gonna
this.
explain?
So I found this article that explained a little bit. So Iris says that she's offended, and that it's just as bad as wearing blackface, which I'm going to disagree with.
I am as well.
I'm going to absolutely disagree with, because he was mocking black culture by wearing a grill and turned ghetto black person, air quotes on that, into a costume for the dorm's entertainment. Now, Mingo's costume was an accurate homage to the specific entertainer and was not an interpretation of the person. And it sounds like Iris's beef should be with Lil Wayne, who is perpetuating this racial stereotype.
Man, I felt the exact same. Like, I mean, there are obviously other subparts of this entire thing that I completely agree with the way that the show depicted it and Iris's opinion on everything, but I agree with you. In that moment, I was like, sis, it sounds like you're mad at Lil Wayne. Not Mingo for dressing up as this person who has turned your cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the thing that I wish this episode would have hit more on the head was Iris. Her problem is that she doesn't feel safe.
Exactly.
Her problem is not that Mingo was appropriating her culture.
Yes.
Her problem is that she no longer feels safe, and that's a huge issue that they should be tackling.
Completely.
And, you know, the conversation in the classroom, there was this quote where she says, her skin color is irrelevant. We're talking about free speech, not racism. So, like, the whole conversation went from cultural appropriation to free speech.
Yeah.
Oh, what a complex episode.
And everybody just put, and I love that they showed that because I feel like these issues are, they're different for everybody. Everybody has their own, each individual in any section or whatever, you know what I mean, has their own personal feelings about it. And I thought they did a great job in that scene of showing just how everybody's opinions are completely individual to themselves, despite whatever, like, color or ethnicity or, you know, anything that they are.
Well, and all of this is, like, a gray area, too, because it does, like, this particular instance does cover, you know, free speech and, you know, whether Mingo has a right to do that and say, you know, everything that he, you know, says, and then Daphne coming in with what she's going to do and all that stuff. It's just, like, nothing is clear-cut, like, this is how you solve it, this is what you should and should not do. All the lines are crossing here, and, like, different issues come into play. So free speech, racism, you know, cultural appropriation, like, it's all crossed, you know?
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah, and I think and even though maybe this episode, like, yeah, she might be mad at Lil Wayne, like, he's the one that's, you know, doing this to, you know, being the stereotype that should be changed. It is good that, like, this does happen, and we have seen stuff like this happening on campuses, like, across just, like, racial things that frats do or sororities do and all of that, and, like, that should be something that is addressed, and nobody really knows how to, like, deal with it, you know, either, so it's so tough.
And Daphne writes her article, her op-ed piece, which I think that scene with Daphne and Regina where she goes, look, I disagree. I think it's racist and I think it's super offensive, but I raised you to speak up for yourself, and I'm really proud of you for speaking up for yourself. That's quality parenting right there.
Yeah.
5 stars.
It really was. And I thought it was, but I mean, that's the thing with these things. It's all, like, interpretation and all things different. But I did think it was interesting, her comparing the Lil Wayne thing to if somebody were somebody white to put on a sombrero and push a lawnmower, and that would be at the same level. And I was like,
because
Regina,
he was
I don't
covering a specific person. He was taught, like, he
a
dressed up
specific
as
person.
Lil Wayne,
I
not
think,
just a random.
I think if it was also a costume party, like, the question comes up to what is the event? Is someone just being a jerk? But is it, like, you know, International Week and that's what someone wears? Or are you dressing up as a musician for a costume party?
Which I do think it's important, though, that they used this exact instance to bring up this issue, because it does cover all of those fields, because people do get upset and their feelings hurt and personally offended, you know, when things like that are done, they seem so small and trivial to somebody else and like nothing. But to one person, it can be absolutely everything and signify everything to them in their culture.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I so love the way that they decided to go about it.
Well, and there's stuff that's going on. Sorry, I know you have stuff to speak. But there is stuff that's going on campuses, like with, I know I said it earlier, fraternities and sororities, but they do have like white trash parties or, you know,
so true.
or dress up like
The pimps and hose parties.
Pimps and hose parties, and like without Switch Up Earth going like completely racist and doing that, I think this was like a really good way to show that and represent what's happening.
Absolutely.
Because those are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if the original script did call for blackface. You know what I mean? Like, I know
I
it
would
didn't,
have hoped
but,
that
like,
they did not.
didn't.
If they,
right,
I would
but,
have
like, they were,
just.
if we're gonna tackle this, like, let's do it. You know?
Well, if that would have been.
Yes. From the chat.
At the beginning of the chat, Kate Norton said the same thing, that he wishes that it would have been a little more serious. And Sarah Blair agrees with what Yael said about, like, if it was just a regular costume party, then it would have been more offensive.
Yeah.
And Dark Angel pointed out that he's an RA too.
Yeah. So excellent point, right? So Iris is moving out because of her emotional safety. That there's this subtle racism, subtle on air quotes, racism on campus that, you know, they didn't ask anybody from the BSU or any of the black students how they felt during this issue that is about race. And I think that's huge.
It is.
And pointing out that this college has these issues makes you wonder, like, that seems like an unsafe school, especially for their new athlete they just brought in.
And true. And also, like, when Iris was explaining everything to Daphne, the most frustrating and sad part to me was listening to Iris basically say that her biggest issue was that she doesn't feel like she has a voice. Like, all of these little things that happen, she feels the need to keep them inside to herself because it doesn't feel like something that she is allowed to talk about or is appropriate to bring up. It seems like something that she should just, like, you know...
Brush off or something.
Yeah, which that, to me, was awful. So then everything does make sense because that's just like a buildup of things that you're holding that other people don't have to or are not talking about either.
Yeah, absolutely. She says, I'm moving out because the person who is supposed to protect me, right? He's the RA. He's not just some guy in the dorm. He's the one she's supposed to be able to turn to.
Right.
And that I completely understand. And that is an issue that she should have absolutely brought up.
Yeah.
I think those are two separate issues.
Yeah. That's where Mingo, I was like this about Mingo, that's where Mingo frustrates me because he is kind of like dim-witted and carefree and like, you know, whatever. So he doesn't think about all aspects of what he may be doing and how it may affect everybody else.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, oh, your intentions were really, really okay, buddy, but it's just think about it a little bit more.
Yeah. The one other thing about this topic I really wanted to touch on was when Daphne had written the op-ed, she was in the class and someone said, are you even Latina?
Oh, I know.
She says, I'm Puerto Rican. I grew up in East Riverside. And that's something that, like, personally hits me real close to home because I am Middle Eastern, but also I pass as white. And so I understand. And she was raised Puerto Rican, you know, a white redheaded Puerto Rican. That's how she was raised culturally. That's who she is.
Right.
And I think it's such an interesting thing to put on the show and go, hey, just because someone passes or someone looks one way, you don't know anything about them.
Absolutely.
Which is a huge thing in my life in all aspects.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, and that's such a good point that you brought up too, is like she was raised culturally Latino.
And she believes.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But yeah, for her, like, that just brings like a new perspective for other people to look at, you know, like she was raised in a Latino family.
Right.
So she is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether she's, you know, got white blood from all the way down or not, you know, it's like that's how she was raised.
Right.
So.
And the color of your skin does not affect your ethnicity, you know, what you are and who you are as a person.
Absolutely.
Ah, the show.
It's good.
So
Yeah.
great.
I mean, great writing.
Yes.
Yeah, they're really
Lots of issues.
mastered
Look at these
touching all these
discussions.
different.
Yeah.
And it's not
More
going
relevant
anywhere.
today than it was when it was written, probably.
Yeah.
There's people
like crazy.
saying, side note, where was Mingo's girlfriend during this
Yes.
episode?
She does not exist.
Yeah, I don't think she's real. I don't think Mingo's girlfriend exists at all.
That's what Greg says. She's imaginary.
Yeah,
Or
he
he
could
just-
have been about that.
I think he lied to protect himself.
I think he did too.
Which sounds like we're heading straight into predictions.
I feel like I could talk about the culture appropriation though forever. I'm like, let's keep talking about that. Great discussion. I want to hear all the things I want people to call in.
Well, we have a live chat. Yeah, people get in the live chat if you want to join the discussion. All right, next week, Bay is worried about girl code because of her and Travis. And as we remember, Travis used to be with Mary Beth, girl code. And there's Toby and Lily's wedding. So, like, we haven't, aside from the season promo, it has not been mentioned that Toby and Lily are getting married, but they showed us that they're getting married. And Toby says, I can't wait to go through the rest of my life with you. And then Lily says, really? And then walks away. She was so angry.
I was all ready to like mock your voice and be like, do you? And then it's really not do you.
Good job.
Yeah,
I wrote down the quotes. I do my job.
Good job.
I come prepared. Predictions. Chat, start writing in, and Beck will read them out.
Yeah.
Predictions on the girl code Bay Mary Beth or the wedding. What do you guys got?
I'm letting you go first. Look at you.
Okay. Well, let's see. Maybe there's going to be some trouble in paradise for the wedding. So,
Okay.
I don't know.
And?
I do think that Mary Beth, I don't know if it's about Tank or not.
Yeah. So in the like season long promo, we see that there's a Mary Beth Tank thing, or at least they led us to believe there's a Mary Beth Tank thing.
Right.
And based on the promos for next week with the Bay going, I broke girl code, blah, 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 and Mary Beth being like, it's fine, it doesn't matter. I think that Mary Beth is going to, remember we were saying that she was going to forgive Tank from the original promo? So I think that in retaliation to Bay being with Travis, she's going to forgive Tank. And then Bay is going to say what we saw in the original promo, which was, you don't get to forgive somebody who did something to me.
Truth. Agreed. That's it. What she said.
There it is.
What else? There's going to be some struggles with Chris, but I'm super stoked about Chris joining the team.
You predict we're going to see him.
Yeah, we're going to see him. There's going to be some struggles. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by that. And I'm intrigued now because he'll get to play with Travis. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Are you shipping them? What is this?
I am a little bit. Also because I just now realized that he was not in the clip that we saw of Travis getting in the fight.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
There was only like 3 or 4 guys in that scene.
All right.
Right?
I don't know.
So that makes me think that they get along.
Well, he's got to learn sign.
So I'm going to go ahead and ship them, or that Chris is antisocial on the team because he doesn't want to be on the team because he wants to be given more treatment, special treatment.
Interesting. I like this. We didn't touch on it today, but this thing where like Travis is getting kind of hazed by John because he was like, well, you've been gone for so long and you need to train and you need to get better and you need to work harder, but also because he's with Bay.
Yep.
So I'd like to see this Travis Chris like butt heads. Who's the favorite of John's and why? Because of Bay. Yeah.
I support that as well.
What are they saying in the chats?
Anna says I predict Mary Beth is with Tank now.
Oh no. I have a whole bunch of issues with that.
There's someone else who predicted that too. It was Gisela who also predicted Daphne is gonna get together with a new baseball player.
Yes, I support that.
Well, because Daphne is real single and ready to mingle. And I love that.
And Gisela says Travis moves in with Bay.
Okay.
Billie Jean Girl says I predict Emmett will try to break Bay and Travis up.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing about the wedding stuff. Meh.
What about Luca? What about Luca? What is the prediction with that?
They're gonna get caught eventually, but like I give it 2 more episodes before they get
caught. They're not doing anything wrong. She's not the teacher.
Yeah, it's a true statement, but they're gonna get caught by Daphne, and Daphne's gonna be like, "Mom, whoa, bro."
No, I think Daphne's gonna be like, okay. Because that's how she is with everyone that her mom gets with. She goes, whatever.
I guess that's kind of true. She is kind of like that. What if John and Catherine catch her?
Yeah. Oh, John's real judgy.
Oh yeah, that would not go over well.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat.
Greg says, wild prediction, Simone returns and causes chaos for the wedding.
Simone from season one. Simone, I knew no one would remember.
Why can't I remember Simone?
Simone was at Buckner, the original school that Bay and Toby went to. She was, she used to be Bay's best friend, and then she didn't, and then she slept with Emmett.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I forgot about Simone.
Yeah. Simone.
That would be
Sexy.
kind of ridiculous
She is
and fun.
So hot. Absolutely.
Yes.
You know,
I like attractive people on the show.
I've seen Lucas roaming around at some karaoke places.
Who?
And Lucas.
Gabriel?
Yeah, I can never say his last name.
Toby?
Oh, yeah. He's
Invite
getting
him
real
in.
hip in the karaoke scene out here, y'all.
Invite him
it.
into the studio.
Yeah.
He doesn't look anything like he looks on the show anymore.
But good, because he doesn't have the stupid facial hair.
No, yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, but he does have that. He's got like a long mohawky thing that like he lets hang. It's like floppy.
I have a real big feeling that you're not karaokeing with Lucas. I want to put out to the chat, it is the final season. To everyone watching, because it's the final season, I task you with tweeting at the actors saying, get into AfterBuzz Studio. Because the more you harass them, the easier it'll be for us to harass them.
Yes.
Excellent. Perfect sound cue. Any final thoughts from the chat?
Kay Norton agrees with your prediction about Mary Beth and the tank situation.
Aha. Thank you. I like when people agree with me.
Yeah.
Especially when I turn out to be way wrong. It's really fun.
That's fun.
Awesome.
We can be wrong together.
Thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Becca, who will be with us all season long, hopefully, to be the voice of the chat. Kelsey, until next week, where can people keep up with you online?
The good people can find me, Kelsey Hightower, at Kels Hightower.
Awesome. Hannah.
And you all can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Hotshot Dude.
Great. You can find me on other shows here, such as The Flash, SVU returns tomorrow, the final season of Grimm. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, everything at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And I have a podcast. It is free on iTunes and Stitcher. It is called Intimate Interrogations. Sometimes it is filthy. Sometimes it is not. So check it out, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.